about building a traditional grass-thatched hut. You have your wooden poles, your packed mud, and your dry grass. Sitting in separate piles, they don't do much, but when you merge these elements together, they form a complete, sturdy structure. In your culinary studies, this merging process is called capacitation. It is the moment where you stop treating food science, logistics, and nutrition as isolated subjects and start applying them all at the exact same time to create a professional skill set. This triangle represents the triad of success. These are the 3 baseline rules you must balance to successfully cater any event, whether it is a small family dinner or a massive local kwanjula. The first rule is nutritional integrity. The meal has to meet the specific health needs of your guests. The second is sensory appeal. By setting a beautiful table and serving food that smells wonderful, you trigger a halo effect, where diners perceive the quality of simple ingredients to be much higher. The third rule is financial viability. To survive in business, your cost of goods sold, or COGS, must always remain below 40% of your final selling price. Moving into the planning phase, you have to buy those specific ingredients while strictly enforcing that rule we established earlier, keeping your cost of goods sold below 40%. Let's test that math. If the raw ingredients for a single plate cost 4,000 Ugandan shillings, what is the absolute minimum selling price you can charge to maintain a 40% COGS? If 4,000 shillings represents 40% of the total, then 100%, your minimum selling price, must be at least 10,000 shillings. Getting this math right during the planning phase is mandatory. If you price the plate at 8,000 shillings, the business will lose money and eventually close, no matter how delicious the food actually tastes. Once the planning is done, we enter phase 3, mise en place. Physical preparation, like chopping vegetables and sharpening knives, is only the baseline requirement. The real skill is mental mise en place. Think of a boda rider navigating a busy Kampala street. They have to anticipate traffic, watch the weather, and dodge potholes all at the same time. A chef does the exact same thing by mentally mapping out the entire service hours before guests arrive to identify potential choke points. When you identify a choke point, like only having one charcoal stove, you solve it using parallel processing. While your matoke is wrapped and steaming on the fire, a process that takes hours, you use that time to peel the fruit for dessert and wash the prep bowls. Mapping the timeline in your head before you ever light the fire turns you from a reactive cook into a proactive professional. During prep, you also look for opportunities for value addition. This means taking an affordable local ingredient, like dried silverfish, and processing it into a premium, high-protein powder that elevates the nutritional value of the whole meal. You pair this with a zero-waste approach. Instead of throwing away vegetable peels and meat trimmings, you collect them and boil them down to create a rich, flavorful soup stock for the next course. By applying value addition and zero waste at the exact same time, you create highly nutritious meals that combat community malnutrition while simultaneously keeping your ingredient costs low enough to protect your profit margins. Eventually, you reach phase 5, service. And in every commercial kitchen, a crisis of service is going to happen. Ingredients fail, equipment breaks, and timing gets thrown off. When things go wrong, professionals rely on adaptation. If you discover your cuts of beef are too tough for a quick pan fry mid-service, you instantly pivot to a slow braising method to break down the fibers and soften the meat. If your ice cream melts before the plates reach the table, you don't panic. You adapt by renaming it on the menu as a chilled custard sauce. Because of the halo effect, the guests will assume this was your beautiful, deliberate plan all along. True culinary capacitation requires this rapid adaptation. You correct the errors in the kitchen and present a flawless plate to the dining room so the guest never even knows there was a problem to begin with. The cycle concludes with phase 6, review. This is the mandatory self-reflection step, where a chef assesses their performance to lock in their newly consolidated skills. There are 4 metrics on this checklist. Safety, would a health inspector find any breaches? Precision, can you replicate the dish exactly? Economy, did you track the cost of every gram? And empathy, did you meet the specific health needs of your guests? When you can execute every phase of this cycle simultaneously, from the first financial calculation to the final health review, you are commanding a professional kitchen. You can watch more videos for all classes here and get all content at www.yaka.cc.